Okay, last week was surface area, so this week we do volume. This is a little different. You can't just find the area of all the surfaces and add it all together. There is actually some formulas that you're going to have to remember. So as we go through formulas, put a box around them, highlight them, star them, whatever you need so that you can remember those formulas whenever we go to do anything in class. Okay? Alright, so volume. This is the space that a figure occupies. That's the official definition. So, it's measured in cubic units. So before we did inches squared, feet squared, miles squared. Now it's going to be feet cubed or inches cubed. Alright, cubic units. Just a little note, volume of a cube. So something that has all of its edges all are exactly the same length. That is the cube of the length of its edge. So if every edge on the cube is 3 inches, then you do 3 cubed and get 27 inches cubed. This is also a measure of capacity. So if you take chemistry, she'll talk about volume a little bit there too, because milliliters are technically a measure of volume. Alright, first one, we'll start with prisms and we'll work our way up. Volume of a prism is the product of the area of its base and the height of the prism. So this capital B, this is area of the base. And then H is obviously the height. Now, you notice I can't give you a formula for every single prism that you'd ever see because there would be so many different prisms. So we're just going to use this one general formula and then just morph it into whatever we need for whatever type of prism that we're trying to find the volume for. Alright, so like this one, it's a rectangular prism. So we need the area of the base times the height. So area of the base times the height. And it depends on what you call the base on a rectangular prism. I'm going to call this side the base. Okay? So with this, we do 20 times 24 because it's a rectangle, so it's base times height. That gives us 480 centimeters squared if you want units on that. And then the height of the prism is 10. So our volume is 4,800 centimeters cubed. Okay? Nothing too major. We're just using stuff that we've used before. Alright, a triangular prism. Now this one's a little different. If it's a triangular prism, that means that the triangle is the base. So when you do volume, you have to find the area of the triangle and then times the height. The height of the prism is 10 because it's the distance between the two triangles. The triangle is a little different. This is an equilateral triangle. If you look at all the labels, it's got 8 here and 8 here and 8 on this side because it matches to that side. So when you've got an equilateral triangle like that, we need the height. This side's 8. This is 8. When I draw this down, this is 4 and 4 now. So in order to find H, you kind of have to do a little work. You need to bring back chapter 8. I would do Pythagorean theorem. So do 4 squared plus h squared equals 8 squared and figure it out that way. You can also do a 30, 60, 90 because it's an equilateral triangle and that's how it works out. However you feel the need to do this. Alright, so if we work Pythagorean theorem, h is 4 root 3. So then to find the area of the triangle, so for this guy, you would do 1/2 times the base, which is 8, times the height of 4 root 3. So 1/2 times 8 times 4 root 3. We get 16 square root 3. So then we multiply by 10 and we get 277.1 inches cubed. Okay? Find the area of your base, multiply by the height. Alright, this triangular prism, it's a right triangular prism actually because it has a right triangle on the end of it. So volume equals area of the base times the height. Area of this base should be fairly straightforward. It's got a base, it's got a height. So you do 1/2 times the base of 6 times the height of 10. We get 30 for the area of the base. And then the height of the prism is the distance between the two triangles, and that would be 5. So then this volume is 150 meters cubed. Okay? Alright, cylinders are a type of prism, so they technically use the area of the base times the height for its formula, but since they have circles on the end of it, we can replace the capital B with pi r squared because that is the area of the base. So the formula that you need to remember for volume of a cylinder is pi r squared h. Okay, so let's try it. Volume of this cylinder, pi times the radius, and radius is 3, squared times h. Alright, and we're going to leave it in terms of pi. So we do 3 squared is 9 times 8 is 72 pi, and then it's centimeters cubed. Alright, let's find the volume of something that's not quite as straightforward. If you look at this shape, you see that there's a cylinder, right? Or not quite a full cylinder, it's a half cylinder. And then a rectangular prism on the bottom. So in order to find the volume, we need to find the volume of both parts and then add it together. Okay? So we'll start with the cylinder. It's pi r squared h. So pi, what's the radius here? I need from here out would be half of 12. So that would be 6. And then h is 4. But it's only half the cylinder. So whatever I get out of this, I'm going to take half of. So if we do 6 squared times 4, we get 144 pi. But we only need half of that, so we only need 72 pi. Okay? Now we'll do the volume of the rectangular prism on the bottom. Alright? We need to know how tall this prism is. This length right here. Okay? If you remember, all of the radii in a circle are the same. So if the radius is 6, that means this radius is also 6. So then out of the 17, there's 11 left. So then we can do area of the rectangle times the height of the prism. So we'll do 11 times 12 and then times 4. Or think length times width times height, if you will. It comes out the same way, but only for rectangular prisms. So the rectangle part is 528 inches cubed. So then to get the volume of the entire shape, we do 72 pi plus 528. Type this in. 72 pi plus 528. We get 754.2 inches cubed. Okay, so we could do the volume of all kinds of shapes just by putting together things that we already know how to do. Alright, volume of a pyramid is 1/3 times the area of the base, there's that capital B again, area of the base, times the height of the pyramid, not the slant height. This is the overall height of the pyramid. Okay, so you have to be real careful about this. Once again, I cannot give you a formula for every single pyramid you'd ever see, so that's why we put the capital B in here and we just morph it into whatever we need. Alright, so this one tells you square pyramid with base edges of 12 inches and a height of 8 inches. So picture this thing has a square on the bottom and it says base edges of 12. So the edges of the square are 12 on both sides. Okay, so we do volume equals 1/3 area of the base times the height. They gave us the height. Area of the base would be 12 times 12, would be 144. Okay, so we do 1/3 times 144 times 8. We get 384 inches cubed. Okay, formulas are very important right now. Alright, another square pyramid. It has base edges of 40, so this is the square and it has 40s on both edges. This time they give you a slant height of 25. Now let me explain how this works. We'll kind of draw a little pyramid out here. Alright, the slant height is this. So this is 25. That's not H, that is L. H would actually be inside the square. And it just so happens when you do this, this is 20 because it's half of 40. And we need to find H. So you do H squared plus 20 squared equals the slant height squared. Okay, and we do some math there. Do your Pythagorean theorem. And you get the height to be 15. Okay, so now we can do volume equals 1/3 area of the base, so that's 40 times 40, times the height that we just found. So 1/3 times 40 times 40 times 15 would be 8,000. And it's feet cubed. Okay, that one's a little trickier, so you may need to ask for help if you don't quite understand that one. Alright, cones are just modified pyramids, so they use the same basic formula, but since we know that the base of a cone is a circle, then we can replace the capital B with pi r squared. So then this formula over here is the one that you need to remember for cones. Okay, and it's a plug and chug. You're going to plug everything into it and you're going to chug out an answer. So, this one tells you it's an oblique cone. Doesn't even matter. Diameter of 30 feet and a height of 25 feet. Okay, and let's go back and remind ourselves. Pi r squared h times 1/3. So, volume equals 1/3 pi. Radius is half the diameter, so this is 15 squared times the height. Alright, so we're going to plug all this in. So 1/3 times pi times 15 squared times 25. And we get 1,875 pi feet cubed. Okay, just plug everything in and get an answer out of it. Alright, if you have any questions, you need to come in and see me, or you need to ask questions when we get to class.